After an electrifying showdown between Islam Makhachev and Alexander Volkanovski at UFC 284.
Nice. Kind of a stumble from Islam, but it doesn't matter. Hit the ground all the same. Some overhand left to a trip for Volkanovski on that one. And he's really picking up the pace now.
Fight fans are convinced the notorious Conor McGregor could destroy the Dagestani on any given day. Here's why. See, Islam couldn't handle Volk's striking. The lightweight champion may have had more control time, but if we're talking about overall damage, Alexander was ahead by miles. Apart from that one knockout,
Volkanovski heading him off on the pressure. Typical. Nice left hand. Massive right hand. And he hurts him. Sits him down.
this was probably the first time I've seen Islam so messy after a fight. The Dagestani had several cuts and bruises on his face, while Volka looked pretty clean. And the fact that he couldn't subdue the featherweight champion with his elite wrestling is the very reason why fans think he could get destroyed by McGregor. Honestly speaking, I don't think Conor would destroy Makhachev, but he'd definitely outstrike him. Islam boasts himself as a deadly striker, but, well, we didn't really see that at UFC 284. He got schooled in that department, and while he did manage to land some really deadly blows of his own, it wasn't enough to shake up the Aussie. He continued chipping away at the Dagestani, and maybe that's why the majority of fight fans think it was a robbery. Twitter was divided and blasted the judges for scoring the fight in Islam's favor.
Decision, and still the undisputed UFC lightweight champion of the world.
If you ask me, I think it was a really close fight. It could have gone either way, and like I said before, Islam may have had more control time, but Volka destroyed him in the stand-up game. He sent him down on one occasion, along with landing some serious strikes throughout the fight. But let's talk about Conor's striking in a bit more depth. Could he really have won against Islam? Well, you have to realize something here. The Irishman is a fighter who's well past his peak, and even though he's done it all and has a ton of experience fighting inside the octagon,
Look at that uppercut.
Now, Marcus
Over the top, looking to finish it here. Conor McGregor, another first-round win. Wow! Ultra-impressive UFC debut.
Makhachev is on his way to greatness. Not only is he physically peaking, but his fight IQ is increasing day by day. Sure, his win over Alexander is super controversial, but imagine how much he learned from that fight. It was probably the most difficult matchup of his career. So he didn't just walk away with a UFC title, he walked away with a ton of experience.
Makhachev trying to set up a submission here, DC.
Yep, and you know, these guys do combat sambo their entire lives, you know, so if you present an opportunity to get a sub, it's over. He'll go get it. There it is. He's got the arm.
And
there
there's the tap.
Another big finish for Islam.
On the other hand, the Irishman already has all that. He's fought guys like Nate Diaz, Jose Aldo, Eddie Alvarez, and multiple other high-quality fighters. Pair all that with his exceptional striking and his knockout ability, and who knows? Maybe the fight fans are right. Maybe Conor had the potential to destroy Islam if he put up a similar performance. But let's not get confused here. The only reason why the Dagestani's elite grappling didn't work is that the featherweight champion is a beast. He'd rather just go to sleep or let his opponent break his arm before he even considers tapping out. And he knows how to escape those really difficult positions. McGregor doesn't though. He's always looking for the knockout. And that's probably something that would have cost him if he ever fought Makhachev. But will it ever happen? Nope. I'm not sure whether Conor has another championship run in him. He's set to return later this year as he gears up to take on the exciting and energetic Michael Chandler. And while a lot of fighters think that he'll get an immediate title shot if he wins, some MMA personalities think that he's done fighting. This will be his last fight ever in the UFC. So maybe all of us should just forget about him fighting the likes of Islam or Volka. Oh, and let's not forget, he's packed on a ton of muscle. And while it hasn't been confirmed yet, there's news going around that his comeback will be in the welterweight division. And I'm not sure if you remember or not, but even Chandler said it. He said he's willing to step up a weight class to take on the Notorious. So, even if there is another championship run left in him, it's definitely not in the lightweight division. Who knows? Maybe Kamaru will win back the belt by then, and fight fans might even see that rivalry reignited again. If you ask me, I think the boss will try to squeeze every penny out of him before he retires. He's their biggest showman after all, so I couldn't count anything out. But I think if he ever does get a title shot again, it won't be in the lightweight division, since he'll have to cut weight for that. He's still fighting on social media though. Right before UFC 284, Conor tweeted about the battle and called both Alex and Islam waffles. And I know what most of you are thinking right now. Who's he to say anything? Like, he hasn't won a single fight since 2016. But let's not forget, McGregor is a fighter who's done it all. Lightweight champion? Done. Featherweight champion? Done. Doubleweight champion? Done. The best fighter at the promotion? Done. He's done all of these things already, so it makes sense why he tweets things like that. And I don't want to sound all controversial by taking anything away from both of these gentlemen, but the level of competition was crazy when Conor did it. He fought legends like Jose Aldo and Diaz, but even Conor couldn't contain himself after watching their epic battle. Now, before I tell you what he said, I want you to keep one thing in mind. Islam is Khabib's prodigy. He's also known as Khabib 2.0, and considering McGregor's rivalry with the Russian, you'd reckon he has a bone to pick with Makhachev as well, right? Not really though. He was actually all praise after watching the fight. The Irishman tweeted how no one lost in that fight. Both Islam and Volka were winners because they put up an amazing performance. The fact that Makhachev was able to last all 5 rounds against such an elite striker is amazing, and the same for Alexander. Everyone thought the Dagestani would submit the Aussie early on in the fight, but credit to him for bringing the heat on the mats. Honestly speaking, I wasn't really expecting this from him, and that's not because he has a habit of bashing other fighters. It's because a lot of people thought the judges were out of their minds. They thought Volka won the fight fair and square. Even Joe Rogan was super disappointed, as he thought the featherweight champion should have been a double champ today. But yeah, it does open up doors for a potential rematch between the two fighters. And as for Volka, he's convinced that he won 3 rounds of the fight. But no hard feelings. That's what rematches are for. Islam needs it more than Alexander though, because whether he likes it or not, the Aussie is the people's champion. He might have won the fight, but it's the Great who walked away as the real winner that night. Before signing off, let's quickly talk about what Islam thinks of McGregor. It's the end if he loses against Chandler. Exactly what I've been saying. If Conor loses, it's a wrap. It'll be 7 years since he last won a fight, and I think Uncle Dana would also be convinced it's time he said goodbye to his favorite star. We definitely won't be seeing any less of him though. But on the other hand, imagine what happens if he wins. Islam didn't comment on that, but deep down inside, I think even he knows just the star power alone is enough to put him ahead of everyone when it comes to a title shot. The only question is, will it be the light or welterweight division? Only time will tell now. He still needs to be tested by USADA before he can fight again. Anyway, that's why fans think Conor McGregor would have destroyed Islam Makhachev at UFC 284. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.